Hello, this is Mrs. Moslick, Geometry Notes 10-7, Special Segments in a Circle. Go ahead and do the warm-up questions. So pause this video when you are done with the warm-up questions. Go ahead and play. Okay, at this point you should be done. Who got C for the first warm-up? Okay, so not all of you. So let's make sure we review from last section. Angle M is outside, the vertex is outside of the circle, so that's angle 4. So measure of angle 4 equals 1/2 the quantity x minus y. So x is the arc that's big minus the arc that's small is y. So we have x, this angle is x, I don't like that. So let's just change that to 4. So measure of angle 4 equals 1/2 times x minus y is 62. Now, it appears we don't have enough information, but they do tell us that this arc in P is 108. So we know that 3 arcs, all angles around a circle, add up to 360. So 108 plus 62 plus that x equals 360. So we know that x is 190. So now we have measure of angle 4 equals 1/2 the quantity 190 minus 62. So 190 minus 62 is 128, and half of 128 is 64. And that's why that's the answer, 64. So good job for you guys who got that. The next part, a chord is B, line segment GE. A secant cuts the circle in at two pieces, so that would be YR, or line YR, and a tangent hits a circle at one point, so that would be this line, or line segment, OM. Moving on to new information, and this is on segments in circles. So circle and segment relationships. We have 2 formulas you have to know: chord, chord, and secant, secant, or secant, tangent. But there are only 2 formulas you have to know. You have to know that in one chord that you're going to multiply the 2 pieces, and in the other chord, you're going to multiply the other 2 pieces. Now, you can just memorize it, but I would highly encourage you not to just memorize. Let's actually figure out why this is true. And the reason why this is true is because of similar triangles. Let me quickly show you the reason for this formula. If I draw in 2 segments, the chords, so that I have created 2 triangles, I'm going to show you quickly that the 2 triangles are similar by angle, angle, or angle, angle, angle similarity. The reason for that is these 2 angles cut off the same arc over here, DF, and these 2 angles cut off the same arc over here, AE. Therefore, and we also know vertical angles. So by angle, angle, or angle, angle, angle similarity, those 2 triangles are similar. Because those are similar, we have this proportion that works: first triangle over second triangle. And so let's go ahead and set up a proportion. And so let me use a different color. How about an orange? So we have this letter A over C. So A over C equals D over B. So D over B. Cross multiply and you get the formula. So anyways, the formula works because of similar triangles, and you don't have to derive it every time, but I just want you to be thinking about similar triangles. Or just in summary, if I have 2 chords that intersect, it's look at one chord and the product of those 2 pieces equal the product of the other 2 pieces multiplied together. Okay, the second formula is secant to secant, or in other words, outside times total equals outside times total. Here's our outside piece A times the total, A plus B, equals the outside of the other piece, C, times the total, C plus D. And that is also because of similar triangles. This may be a little more difficult to see, but let me just show you as best as I can. We have this red triangle, and the red triangle, let me just draw it here, where we have this angle here, and we have C and A plus B, and then we have another triangle. Let me just use blue. And that is A and C plus D. And note that they both have the same angle here. And they both have inscribed angles that cut off the same arc. So these are the same. I should use this as 1. Okay, so by angle similarity, those are similar triangles. So first over second is another proportion here. So C relates to A. So C relates to A as A plus B relates to C plus D. So cross multiply, we have A times A plus B, or outside times total, equals C, or outside, times total, C plus D. So that's the quick derivation of why that formula works, but just remember, outside times total equals outside times total. Now, if you also have a secant tangent, it's the same formula. Your outside times total is this A times A plus 0. So I don't even memorize that. I just say A times A plus 0 equals the C times C plus D. So it's the same idea of outside times total equals outside times total. Okay, so let's go ahead and use those two formulas for our backside. Example 1, we have, let's think about, I have two chords intersecting. Now remember, the two pieces on the same chord, you multiply them. So we have our formula, we have our A times B equals our C times D. So here's like our A and our B. So we have x plus 3 times x plus 4 equals, and then the other line segment, you're going to multiply those two, and it doesn't matter where C and D are. C and D have to be on the same line segment, but again, A and B have to be on the same line segment. Doesn't matter where the A is, where the B is. Okay, and C and D could be interchanged. So we have equals x times the quantity, x plus 9. Okay, so we will distribute and solve. So we have an x squared plus 4x plus 3x is plus 7x plus 12 equals x squared plus 9x. The x squares cancel, leaving us with 7x plus 12 equals 9x. Subtract 7x from both sides, leaving us with 12 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, so x is 6. Kind of a fun problem to do, I think. Number 2, we have a secant, so we have outside times total equals outside times total. That's how I remember it. Or if you want to not use outside times total equals outside times total, you can label, this is my A, this is my B. So we have A times the quantity A plus B equals the other segment. We have outside times total, or C always has to be on the outside. A always has to be on the outside, C times the total, C plus D. I prefer just writing outside times total equals outside times total. It is up to you if you want to use the A's, B's, C's, and D's, or the outside times total. If you use A's, B's, C's, and D's here, the A and the C have to be on the outside of the circle. So we have 8 times the quantity, 8 plus x equals 10 times the quantity, 10 plus 24. So we have a 64 plus 8x equals 100 plus 240. let's go ahead and simplify. So we have on the left side, we have a 64 plus 8x. On the right side equals 340. Subtract 64 from both sides. So 8x equals 276. Divide both sides by 8. So x is 34.5. Next problem. Outside times total equals outside times total. Let's go ahead and do this again. If you don't want to use outside times total, then go ahead and label your A, B, C, and D. This would be your A. Your B is 0. And then the other line segment is, we have our outside is our C, and our inside piece is D. So if we use this formula with the A, B, C, and D, we have to label A, B, C, and D, where A and C are on the outside of the circle, or you can just say outside times total equals outside times total. So A times the quantity A plus B equals C times the quantity C plus D, or outside times total equals outside times total. So 4 times the quantity, 4 plus 0, equals X times the quantity, X plus D. D is X plus 4. So we have a 16 equals X times the quantity, 2X plus 4, distribute. 16 equals 2X squared plus 4X. Oh, this is a fun problem. We have a quadratic. We have 0 equals 2X squared plus 4X minus 16. So how do you solve a quadratic equation? You know you could graph it and find where the left side equals the right side, or you can use factoring. Let's use factoring, or the quadratic formula. Let's factor. So first of all, factor out, make sure it's in standard form. We do. Factor out the greatest common factor, which is 2. So we have 2 times the quantity x squared plus 2x minus 8. And then because our leading coefficient is x squared, the leading coefficient is 1. We just have an x squared. We're looking at two numbers that multiply to get negative 8, add to get 2. And that would be, 4 and negative 2. So they multiply to get negative 8, add to get 2. So we are now going to use the zero product property, set each piece equal to 0. So 2 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. Well, 2 cannot equal 0, so that does not give us an answer. X equals negative 4, and x equals 2. Just make sure that your answer makes sense. So what is x? X is, I'm just having issues. I'm not sure why. Sorry about that. And x equals 2. Okay, so here the question is, let's find x. Now, x is a length, so x cannot be a negative. So we only have one answer. Okay, number 4 and 5 are review problems. Go ahead and pause this video. When you are done with the 2 review problems, go ahead and unpause. Number 4, answer should have been 50 degrees. Who got that? Good. Number 5, who got 122 degrees? Okay, if you did not get both of those, go ahead and look up here and see E. This is angle 4. Measure of angle 4. Vertex is outside the circle. Measure of angle 4 is 1/2 times the quantity x minus y, where x is the bigger arc. So we'll call it x, and we have to label the picture, and the smaller arc is y. So please make sure you mark that up. So measure of angle 4, which is what we want to find, measure of angle E is measure of angle 4, is 1/2 times 130 minus 30. So measure of angle 4 equals 1/2 times 100. So measure of angle 4 is indeed 50 degrees. Another one, we want to find the measure of angle 1. Well, first of all, identify that our angle is the vertex of our angle 3 is inside the circle. So that's angle 3. Measure of angle 3 equals 1/2 times the quantity x plus y. You must label your x and y. I like to label x as the arc that's bigger than the other one. Y is the smaller arc. Really doesn't matter in this case though. So we have measure of angle 3 equals 1/2 times the quantity 65 plus 51. So we have measure of angle 3 equals 1/2. What is that? 6/116. So half of 116 is 58. That is not our answer. We do have to make sure we're answering the question. And the question is measure of angle 1. Note that 1 and 3 are supplementary. They form a linear pair. So by the supplement theorem, those two angles add to 180. And so measure of angle 1 plus 58 equals 180. So 180 minus 58 is 122. So that's our final answer.